Hello everybody, Lawrence Fleming here again. Well, I'm out on a hike and I've kind of stopped to do my video. It's still cool, but it's muggy. We got a little bit of rain last night. And so the gnats are out. So if you see me swatting at stuff, I'm not going crazy. There's little bitty bugs around. They don't hurt anybody, but they're annoying. Sort of like Satan when he's buzzing around you trying to distract you. Only I can command him to go away. The gnats don't seem to hear me. All right. The topic for today is we are at war. And I'm not talking about just the wars around us that we see starting up or the war that's going on in the Ukraine, but there's also a spiritual war. So there's two wars going on around us. And we're told that there's be wars and rumors of wars. We'll get to that in a bit. I almost think that we need to all have a drill sergeant like the ones in the movies that will yell at us. Come on, maggots, get up. Drop and give me 50. You know, to motivate us to get going. That's why they do that. They don't do that because they like to hear themselves yell, but it scares the recruits. Quick story, when I was in the Navy, I was in boot camp. And I can guarantee you that pretty much anybody else, except for that time in the Navy, had a tougher boot camp than we did. All we basically did in the Navy, and this was down in San Diego, was to go out on the big tarmac, the big parking lot, and just march up and down with our plugged M1. It was heavy, but it could never fire. And we just had, what were they called? Well, it's platoons in the Navy. I don't know what we had. Company, I guess it was. And so there'd be, 20 or 30 of us, whatever it was, and we just have to march in unison. And when he would tell us to turn left, we all had to turn left. And everybody but one would turn left. And then we'd have to do it until that one would finally stop messing up. And then when he'd get it right, somebody else would mess up. So we spent our entire boot camp just learning how to march. And then we did our final, what was the movie? Was it Stripes with Bill Murray? Where they came out and did their fancy routine that were self-taught because their drill leader died or whatever it was. Anyhow, but a funny story from that. We were out resting after we had marched all day long trying to get it right. And we were sitting near the fence that separated the Navy boot camp from the Marine boot camp. And up comes a Marine patrol, and their sergeant, drill sergeant, sees us over there resting. And so he stops his group and he starts yelling at them, yelling loud enough and in our direction so we could hear it. And he says, okay, you guys just hiked 50 miles in full pack. You've done this, you've done that, whatever. You deserve a special treat. Of course, they're not used to hearing that from their drill sergeant, so everybody was silent. Finally comes out, all right, who wants to have a treat? And he finally gets them all to, we do, Sergeant, we do. And they all one at a time would come up and say something. And he says, okay, for your treat, how many of you would like to call home? These are young men who are away from home probably for the first time. And so that would be a treat to be able to call home. And of course, they're still not sure what's going on. And so nobody's saying, he goes, I can't hear you. How many wants to call home? And they finally all said it. And he goes, okay, start calling. He made them stand there and go, Mom, Dad, how are you? I'm doing fine. Each one of them, to show us wussy Navy people on the other side of the fence what it's really like to be a Marine. Yeah, they were tougher. I don't have any doubt about that. Now, we did have Navy SEALs, but we weren't part of that group. So anyhow, we almost need a drill sergeant sometimes to motivate us. God speaks in a still small voice, he would never make a drill sergeant. Okay, let's take a look at, I'm gonna look at this from their 2 points, spiritual and physical. We're in a war, spiritual war, from day one, and we will be in it until we're out of here. And until God finally puts everybody in the pit of fire, there's going to be a spiritual war. And so let's take a look at Ephesians 6:10. Finally, brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. We're fighting the devil. The advantage that we have is God's more powerful, but the devil has a purpose, so we've got to deal with him. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and against powers and against rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Therefore take up the whole armor of God. Got our ranger driving around checking on things. Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. With the armor of God, Satan cannot harm you at all. Therefore stand, having girded your waist with the truth. If you don't put the truth on, no one's going to hear the truth because they're not going to hear it from the world. Just turn on any news channel, even the ones that we know are slightly conservative. They're still not 100% truth. They're sensationalized to get viewers. The left is playing outright lies, along with their fearless leader who lies. Deception is the key. Jesus warned about that in Matthew 24 when they asked him about the future. Do not be deceived was his first comment. Not the last, not embedded in one of the paragraphs. That was his first comment. Okay, so having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, the arrows coming from the front and the back, you've got protection. And having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. This is not a book of war. This is a book of peace. How to get there. Above all, taking the shield of faith, which you will be able to quench all the firing darts of the wicked one, and take on the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, being watchful to this end with all perseverance and supplication for all the saints. We're all in this. This is a team. All Christians should be banding together, spiritually, praying together, protecting one another, not taking one another down. They don't need anything from us. If they need something, God to deal with it. Satan's going to be attacking everybody. You don't need to be helping him. All right. So we know that there's a battle going on. Let's look over to 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil walks about like a roaring lion. A roaring lion is basically announcing their presence, letting you know that they're in charge, in power, and hungry. Like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. You don't want to be his dinner. Resist him, steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same sufferings are experienced by your brotherhood in the world. But may the God of grace, who called us to his eternal glory by Christ Jesus, after you have suffered a while, perfect, establish, and strengthen, and settle you. So we may have to put up a little bit, but it makes us stronger. and then we can fight the devil better. And he's a coward. You don't have to fight him very much. You're not going to beat him, but you're going to push him back. Beating him is reserved for God, and eventually for Michael when he kicks him out of heaven. I look forward to that. I hope we're here when that happens. I'm going to cheer. Okay. So we know that we're in a spiritual war, and that's going to continue no matter what goes on in the world. But we've got potential physical wars out there. So let's take a look at a very familiar verse, Matthew 24, 6 through 7. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you're not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. That was Jesus talking. So there will be wars and rumors of wars. We don't have to worry about being bothered by them. There's a war going on right now as I'm talking. It's in Ukraine. Now, how much of it's a war, how much of it is a show of power, I don't know. Doesn't matter. People are suffering. But the people that are suffering are running to other countries. And so other countries are having to deal with it. So it's not just there. Refugees running everywhere. Russia's just declared war on the Jews to a degree by saying that they can no longer leave Russia for Israel. They've been allowed to do that all this time up until now. Well, through the Soviet Union they couldn't, but when Russia was on its own, they were allowed to do that. At one point in time, Russia and Israel kind of got along because they tried to get along with everybody because they didn't have the power. They've got the power now, and we're not showing signs of power in this country, and we used to keep them at bay. It's going to continue to get worse. Let's take a look at some of the problems we've got right now in the physical wars. China. China is having financial problems. When they kind of annoy everybody and we start not buying from them if we can, this recent bill that was passed by Congress and will be signed by the President is going to put money, which we don't have, but it's going to put money into the tech industry to get us back manufacturing again. If you have a phone, I guarantee it was made in China. Now, it may be assembled here, but the parts, the components were made in China. Some of the chips might be from here, but it was made in China. The batteries for your electric cars are made in China. So if we go to war with them, guess what we're not going to get? So they're preparing for war by trying to get us back into the manufacturing business to compete with China so that we don't have to deal with that. And China just threatened us, threatened war. If I don't know if I can get away with saying her name, but the Speaker of the House is supposed to go over to Taiwan. And they just said that if she does, they will attack and they will shoot her plane down. That is an act of war. And they said they would do it. It doesn't matter if we escort them in with military planes, they will shoot them down too. Now, bold talk, maybe they can, maybe they can't. But if they threaten to do it, that is an act of war. Now, are we going to back down? We've been acting weak continually. We turned tail and ran from Afghanistan. Left all of our military gear behind so that the enemy could have it. We allowed the people that were Christians and those that were helping us over there to be killed because there was no one left to protect them. Not only is that cowardice, it's treasonous in my mind. All right. We should be taking examples from the past. Let's go to Jeremiah 51:20. Jeremiah is writing at the time of the Babylonian threat, and eventually Babylon conquers them and they are exiled. Normally God protects his people, but when they don't follow his rules, they were ignoring the Shemitah year. They were ignoring the fact that they're supposed to stop work on the fields and everything else every 7 years, so that the fields could then go fallow and get nutrients back in them again. He gave it to them for a reason, but it was also a direct commandment from God, and they were ignoring it. That's why they were exiled for 70 years. The 7 was the Shemitah time frame, so he was recouping all the time that they wouldn't give to God. After they'd recouped all that, he was able to come back. They were able to come back. But Jeremiah 51:20, you are my battle axe and weapons of war, talking to God. For with you I will break the nation in pieces. With you I will destroy kingdoms. With you I will break in pieces the horse and its rider. With you I will break in pieces the chariot and its rider. With you I will break in pieces man and woman. I will break into pieces the young. He continues on. With God we have nothing to fear. But when we snub God, as a nation, we have plenty to fear. Not only have we banned the Bible in this country, we've tried to shut down churches. If it wasn't for our Constitution, they would have. They're basically blaming everything on Christians. We're not quite persecuted any worse yet because we have the Constitution. They're about ready to throw that out the window. When they do, we will find that God is going to unleash his wrath on us as a nation. I hope we're out of here because it's not going to be nice. We're not mentioned as a country in the end times. Neither is China, for that matter. So are we getting ready to go to World War III with them and each one of us do major damage? That's possible. And then we're going to be on the sidelines until the end. China has nukes, so do we. Let's look into the future. We do have a good future, but we're not there yet. Let's look to Isaiah chapter 2, verse 4. And just the sentence before, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem, he shall judge the nations and rebuke many people. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. That's coming, but we're a long way off. Unfortunately, we're in the war and rumors of war time frame. We still have the harlot changing the world, making life more difficult for all of us, making life difficult for Christians and Jews. They don't like either one of us. Because just like with the Romans back in Jesus' time, the harlot wants to be worshipped. The Antichrist is going to want to be worshipped. And we worship a God. We worship Jesus. They don't like that dual worship. They want everything exclusive. They're destroying our food. We're going to be starving here in this country here soon. So be sure to stock up. I'm warning you. I've been telling you this for some time. If you haven't started yet, it's not too late. But we don't have a lot of time left. And you're thinking, well, we're going to have the rapture. Well, I hope so. But I don't know so. As far as timing, I don't know. If we're prepared, the longer we're here, the more we can save. Don't bail on those that need help just because it's a little tough for us. I'm doing this camping, recreating, I have to make sure I use that term, recreating full time to prove to you that we can get by without living in sticks and bricks. I have a residence I can use, but I'm not using it. We've got times coming up that are going to be even tougher than what we can see on the horizon. Be prepared. We do have a rapture, but I don't know how far. Be good to one another. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Band together, help out. People are starting to show up, so I'm going to have to wrap this up here. You can hear the dog yelping in front of me here. All right. Be strong. Don't look at the things around you. Don't look at the waves. Look at Jesus, and you can walk on water too. God bless. Just a reminder that I'm recording this on Saturday for release on Sunday, but Tuesday I'm changing sites. I'm going to another park east of here, so I may be late with my video on, I guess it would be Wednesday, because I won't be able to record on Tuesday. I can't get in until afternoon, and I don't know this is a new site. I've never been there. So hopefully I'm going to be able to record and upload, but I don't know yet, so be prepared. Keep praying for this ministry. I'm trying to stop the sliding that this channel is experiencing. I'm at a negative subscriber count. It looks at 30 days, and I've been positive for the past few months, and right now I'm negative. More people are leaving this channel than are joining. I have to assume that when I get off topic, people don't like that. So I'm going to stay with these messages and stay on topic. I'm not going to try to get off anymore. These are what we need to do because we're so short on time. We need to be focusing on the end times and saving people before the rapture. Planting seeds. That's the most important part for what we can do. And I'm going to put this at the end, but I'm going to mention it up front. Like all my videos, I need to get the numbers up. Because if it keeps going the way it's going, I'm going to shut this channel down and try to switch over to Telegram. And I don't like to have to do that. If we can work harder to try to keep this channel going, then I can stay here. But if it just keeps getting worse, I know that I'm dealing with filters because I've been touching some touchy subjects lately. I even had one where they restricted the sharing of the video. So I've got to be careful. But you're going to have to help me as well. Your prayers are important, but I need you to like every video that you see, like every picture that I post. You've got to help on that, and you can even share if you share your videos. And if it comes up and asks you, do you like it? Please tell them you like it. And subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. I would think most of you that are commenting are, but I need to basically stop the degradation of what's going on here. Right now, YouTube is winning, and the trend is for them to totally win. They haven't blocked me from posting a video yet, but they've almost done that. So help me to keep this channel going. If you've got topics you want to hear about, let me know. I'll put up more question and answer things up there. I do want to go live, but I'm not in a good spot right now. I don't have any problem uploading, but it's not a stable connection for a live broadcast. Because if I lose connection, it just reestablishes quickly and then continues uploading. But if I lose connection, I've lost the live channel. They don't reconnect. I'm going to see what the new site looks like. So hopefully next week we can get to do another live, along with some Q&A. And understand that I am not a 30-year Bible scholar like these pastors on other channels that have 40 and 50,000 and 100,000 subscribers who've been teaching, for 30 years. I've taught Bible study, yes, but that's quite easy to do. In a Baptist church, they give you a booklet. and you just go through the booklet and read down through it and get people to comment. That's very easy. The Bible study that you generate is different. But I have a handicap. I can't remember. Long-term stuff I don't remember very well. Short-term, I'm real good. That's how I can memorize scripts when I'm doing acting, which I'm not doing right now, by the way. So if you can help out with my Patreon account, that would be helpful. I put the link to it and the Telegram account in the description. And if I do a major fundraiser for something, that will be there as well. So be sure to look down there. And if I'm talking about somebody else's, I'll try to put their page down there. But most of you people already know about the ones that I follow. All right. I'm going to wrap up now. I just thought of these things I forgot to mention. I get sidetracked, but I have to do some bookkeeping. If I don't do the bookkeeping, this channel won't survive. Now, I said I would do this if I had 1 subscriber. I will do that if we have 1 subscriber, but the rate we're going, in a couple of months I won't have any. Because that's what YouTube is doing. We have to beat them at their game. All right. Till we meet in the clouds, which may be before the channel goes away anyway. God bless.